All right, everyone, here we go again. It's our second week, the week of June 7th through the 13th. It's actually today's June 6th. I will have well, actually, it's June 7th, isn't it? So I'll get your video out and rolling for your class. Uh, this week will be a little bit different. We have a major assignment. I want to talk about that. First off, I want to tell you that if you did not watch all of the video and do the little assignment that was a part of it, then that grading for that has closed out. So you missed that assignment. Can't miss many of those. You need to watch the videos. That's going to be a big key for what you get and what you see. Um, the next part is the of this one is going to be talking about the first position paper. So let's jump right into that. Let's get you looking at here's our schedule of events. We are at week number 2 right here. So this week, I'm expecting you to read chapters 1 and 2, interpersonal process and culture. Uh, if you have not started your reflections journal, then you need to get that done. Several of you have. Don't be antsy about your grade on that. When I put that in there, I wanted to give you an overall grade of 280 points. It's going to be 20 points at a time. So if you've done it, you should have gotten your 20 points graded in. If you didn't, shoot me a message. We'll make sure you're covered on that. I have tried to go through and look at those and get them done, but I'll check those again all through the day, and I do check these multiple times in the day to make sure I get them graded. So basically, you have 2 reading assignments. You have your reflections journal, and then you have your first position paper. I want to take a look at that and kind of get an idea of what we're going to talk about that. Position paper is due Friday. It's due by midnight Friday. I want you to think about a couple of things on here. You're going to pick a topic, and you're going to write me 2 pages where it says to staple the staple corner, your name. Don't worry about that. I want your name, your basic information at the very top. If you have a title for it, that's fine as well. But I want about 2 pages. If you write everything, cover all your topics, and you're not quite 2, it will not affect you. If you give me a halfway written paper of a page, then it will have an effect on your grade for this. This is 50 points, so keep that in mind as you're going. You choose one of these topics. In your opinion, what is the role of research and theory in the study of interpersonal communication? Which do you feel is more important and why? Think about what research has been done in regards to interpersonal communication, people saying something without actually saying something. Where do we see that the most? How does it work? Is it important? Think about what theory is, how theory in regards especially to needlepoint theory and news and things like that, how do those affect us? Second, defend or refute, which means prove false, that interpersonal communication is constantly in motion and changing over time. I've thought about this question a lot. If I were to write on this particular part, I do believe interpersonal communication is constantly in motion. And my example would be basically the internet. We know what it means when certain emojis are popped out, when certain abbreviations are done, and when somebody uses all caps. So I think there are certain things to that. But we could also say that it's the same communication we've had for years. Defend or refute that communication is irreversible. This is really big right now and with politicians. Someone may have said something 25 years ago, and now they certainly wish they hadn't said it. Is it irreversible? If not, why not? If it is, then how do you go about and do that? I'm sure it's a question that a lot of people might really like to know. Defend or refute that interpersonal communication is not a necessary part of maintaining our public self. How do you see people in public? When you look at someone, what do you see? And the last one kind of leads into that. Does culture, gender, or personality have the most significant impact on our perceptions in interpersonal communications? When you see someone, what's the first thing you see? I use the example that I did a graduate capstone project on homeless. And one of the homeless people that I saw commonly, people drove by and thought he's just some bum that's roaming the streets. He actually had a master's degree in geology and was trying to work his way across the country to go to a gem mine. It had taken him some time to do it. He may not have had the other skills that were necessary to get things done, but he definitely was not what you would look at when you would think about when you first see him. Okay, so those are your topics. Grab one. You can write on that easily enough. Let's talk about where this is at. All right, so here's what your page looks like. Position paper is right here. If you click that, it brings up this page. Click that right there. It's 50 points. If you have your document saved in your computer, browse your computer and submit it. It will go in, and then I'll get it graded for you. Easily enough. Those once again are due by the end. We will have a small class project this week. What I'm going to do is for the class project is I will open up a discussion board that's going to be listed as class project and not discussion board. But what's going to happen is I am going to basically post for you my intro. I normally do it on the first discussion boards, but you guys were really commenting, going back and forth a lot, and I just wanted to kind of tie in and watch those things for a while. You guys did a great job on that, by the way. So for this discussion board, go to class participation, which it'll actually be number 2 because we did number 1. And I will post my intro, 1 line comment on it, makes you participation of this particular project, so you need to go and do that. I don't want to fall behind on those class participation projects because they're pretty vital to what we have to do to keep our grades where we need them to be. So be watching for that. The next discussion board will not be until next week, and we'll talk a lot more about that as we come up to it. All right, so now you have this. I'm going to go ahead and go back a page. If you have a question for me, send me a message right here. Clicks right there, and you can get that out to me. I will have some announcements that come forward, and we'll go from there. So if you don't have any questions, you don't hear from me, and I'll assume everything's going good. Let's get those position papers in and maintain what you got grade-wise. Read those 2 chapters. We're going to talk about them. They'll be part of your quiz that comes up. But keep up with that stuff. Other than that, let's see. Other than that, then I think we're good to go. So I'll look forward to hearing and seeing from you again. Otherwise, have a great week.